Hello there, I'm Don Arleth and welcome to Flash News, where we give you a brief summary of the day's events. Consultations between the head of the European Council and prime ministers of several EU countries, including Mateusz Morawiecki, have come to an end. The video conference concerned the EU budget, among others. The Polish government expects further work, leading to the rapid negotiation of a solution that will guarantee the rights of all member states and respect for EU treaty procedures.
Just over a week before the key EU summit, the European atmosphere warms up about the EU budget. Mateusz Morawiecki and Prime Ministers of Greece, Slovakia and Slovenia talked with the President of the European Council. On Monday in Warsaw, the Prime Minister of Poland and Hungary considered various options for a possible agreement. We are open to new proposals. We are convinced that an agreement can be reached, although we stress that it must be in accordance with the EU treaties and the conclusions of the European Council of July this year. In the negotiations, the Polish government uses the argument that arbitrary criteria for assessing the rule of law can lead to a breakup of the European Union. Other countries also have their doubts. These include Latvia, the Czech Republic, Bulgaria, as well as, and perhaps most importantly, Portugal, which will take over the EU presidency from January. After the end of the year, the German presidency of the Council of the European Union will be over. Portugal, in the person of Prime Minister Antonio Costa, my former colleague, Vice President of the European Parliament, with whom I sat in the Presidium, says that the two things should be separated, and he said that a long time ago. Then comes the Slovenian presidency, which openly supported. Yes, there really is a third Slovenian veto. 1 month before the end of the German presidency, Angela Merkel sends out a signal of her readiness to agree on a result that everyone will be able to agree upon. But without compromise, it won't work. It is about a compromise that has been made by all parties. So I think, because this is a really central project, we all have to be ready to compromise to some extent. Mrs. Merkel's statement is a signal here for all parties to seek an agreement. Until the end of December, this compromise must be made, and I guess you have to reckon that you can achieve it. The politicians of the groups forming the United Right are discussing the next Polish steps in the EU negotiations.
At least 5 people were killed and a dozen or so wounded in an attack by a 51-year-old man in western Germany. The perpetrator drove his car into a crowd of people in the center of Trier. He was under the influence of alcohol at the time. Among the dead was a 9-month-old child. The city's mayor described the incident as the darkest day in Trier since World War II.
He entered the closed pedestrian area in the center of Trier with great speed. According to witnesses, his action was deliberate. The culprit was supposed to drive in a zigzag to hurt as many people as possible. He was arrested only 4 minutes after the crime was committed. He resisted the attempted arrest. The driver is a 51-year-old man, a German citizen from the district of Trier-Saarburg. Numerous police forces and rescue services quickly arrived on site. The man had not been punished before. In the last days, he lived in the car he attacked with. At the time of his arrest, he had a blood alcohol level of 0.14. We are investigating due to the suspicion of multiple murders and injuries to a number of people. We assume that this attack was intentional. The vehicle was used as a weapon, which is confirmed by our previous findings. The man is questioned. At this point in time, there is no information that would indicate a terrorist motive. However, the prosecutor in Trier does not exclude that the perpetrator may be mentally ill.
More than 9,000 new infections and 449 deaths are the latest daily balance in the fight against the pandemic in Poland. More field hospitals continue to be opened, and in January, some teachers will be routinely screened for COVID-19. Pilot screening tests will be carried out in Silesia, Lesser Poland, and Subcarpathia. Here's more.
The Silesia and Lesser Poland regions are usually the leaders of daily statistics. For comparison, teachers from Podkarpackie Voivodeship, where the epidemiological situation is better, are also to be examined. The Minister of Health, Adam Niedzielski, announces that the ministry wants to carry out tests in mid-January, that is, at the end of the holiday season. Nearly 9,500 new cases were recorded last day. Those infected with the virus may be placed, among others, in this field hospital in Płock, which was built by the PKN Orlen Group and handed over to the regional hospital complex. The modular hospital was set up very quickly. This is indeed a great achievement. The hospital is fully prepared. The hospital in Płock has 200 beds. Orlen is building another field hospital in Ostrołęka. From the very beginning, Caritas Polska was also involved in the fight against the coronavirus. Since March of this year, we have launched 2 great programs. We help seniors and grateful to medics. Under the second program, the Material Reserves Agency provided Caritas Polska with specialist equipment worth nearly 3 million zlotys.
Chinese officials drastically underestimated the severity of the pandemic, according to a secret report that was leaked to CNN from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention in China's Hubei province. Documents also show that there were significantly more infections than initially reported. Here are the details.
Faulty tests and false data about the number of detected cases. In a secret report, the provincial authorities reported that on the 10th of February, almost 6,000 people were infected. This is more than twice as many as officially claimed. It was clear they did make mistakes, and not just mistakes that happen when you're dealing with a novel virus, also bureaucratic and politically motivated errors in how they handled it. Meanwhile, the United States is preparing for a third wave.
Our hospitals can no longer safely take care of the patients, any more patients coming in.
An increasing number of countries in Europe are experiencing declines in infections. In Belgium, all stores are already open. Restaurants and bars remain closed. In France, the number of new cases fell below 5,000. The local authorities decided that the vaccine against COVID-19 will be administered first of all to the most vulnerable ones. And the vaccine is getting closer. Pfizer and BioNTech have applied to the European Medicine Agency for conditional approval of their product. If the agency positively assesses the effectiveness and safety of the vaccine, the Commission will issue an authorization decision within a few days. An extraordinary meeting of the agency is scheduled for the 29th of December.
Now for a bit of holiday cheer. The White House is all decorated and ready for Christmas. First Lady Melania Trump and her team have put the final touches in preparing Christmas at the White House. Let's take a look.
The First Lady of the United States of America, Melania Trump, personally decorated the presidential residence. 120 volunteers helped her. The motto of this year's decoration is Beautiful America. It is a tribute to a great nation and a great country that we can proudly call home, said Melania Trump in an online video presenting the White House Christmas decorations.
Many companies have been wiped out by 2020's coronavirus pandemic, and even more are holding on for dear life. This includes the world-famous Parisian bookstore, Shakespeare & Company. Absolutely must-see for any self-respecting tourist visiting the French capital.
A book paradise, a temple of literature, magical land of books. There could be hundreds of names, although it is not about the words themselves. Shakespeare & Company bookstore near Notre Dame Cathedral is an extraordinary place. Hemingway, Joyce or Fitzgerald have been here. Founded by the American publisher Sylvia Beach in 1919, it went through more than one turbulence. The coronavirus threatened its existence. Book sales dropped by 80%, and that means that the specter of bankruptcy is incoming. He beat cancer by dancing. 11-year-old Egyptian Abdelrahman Tarek has been fighting bone cancer for 20 months. After the last chemotherapy, he was so exhausted that his family feared for his life. He did not want to get out of bed, he didn't want to eat, he could not do anything. And then his siblings introduced him to the secrets of Tanur's folk dance. The boy found in it the meaning of life and the will to fight his illness. This animal footbridge over one of the highways in the state of Utah was built 2 years ago. However, it took some time for the residents of nearby forests to learn how to use it. They finally entered the road when the builders equipped it with elements resembling the natural environment. Now the animals use it regularly, saving their lives and the lives of travelers.
And with that, we conclude tonight's program. Karolina Pajączkowska is back tomorrow, and until I see you again next time, take care and stay safe. Good night.